Get ready. This one's awesome. Okay, we're going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Marty Evans. So this Marty's the man. All right, let's talk about him. He is like the James Bond of the collision industry with a true business background. He's like the guru. He's skilled in negotiation, business planning, operations management. He's been in sales. He's been in biz dev. He's done it all. He is the Swiss Army knife of the collision industry. Please welcome my good friend, Marty Evans.
Hello, Marty.
Thanks, gentlemen. It's good to be here.
Welcome. Thanks for taking the time today. We're excited to have you. We got so many questions for you, but we thought we'd try and coalesce it down into just a couple here. I think something that's really unique about you is that, and your organization, you work with hundreds of shops and mostly independents, MSOs. What are you finding are some of their challenges, and what are you finding that when they're facing these challenges, what are they doing to overcome them, and maybe even relying on some of the stuff that you guys do? Can you unpack that for us, will you?
Yeah, it's interesting. We see all levels and all challenges, because we manage every shop by that shop. So the overarching complaint or challenge is labor. There's no question that we have a labor issue in this industry. I like to challenge it. I don't necessarily buy into that we have a labor problem in this industry. I think we have an efficiency problem in this industry.
True.
And until we get the efficiency, corrected, we ought to quit complaining so much about the shortage of labor. Also, I see a lot of shops getting complacent because the business has been very, very good over the past 24, 36 months. Mm-hmm. And if anybody's talked to me in that time frame, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Is I hope you're not managing your business by your revenue. Stop managing your business by revenue, because that's a false number. We've got to start paying attention to car count, make sure we're fixing more cars. But yeah, labor, technology is a challenge. Obviously, the complexity of the vehicle. We've heard a lot about it this morning already with the ADAS and calibration, emerging opportunity there. But I don't think any one shop is facing a hurdle that everybody isn't facing. This business is a great business, but you got to be paying attention to it.
I've always likened it to, a multitude, and I'm with my stores, we had this as well, right? A multitude of vehicles, a multitude of sales can cover a multitude of sins. And I think that's what you're referring to here as well. Are you forecasting any kind of correction? I mean, we've been charting a lot of the backlogs that we've been seeing of shops out there. It seems like the backlog has been eroding slowly, but tell us a little bit about what you're hearing out there around that.
Yeah, we're starting to see it in pockets. Where it's softening up. There's still markets out there that are 6-8 weeks behind. So I wouldn't say it's systemic yet, but I would tell you it's systemic coming for sure. The business cannot continue at the pace it's at. A lot of it's driven by LOR or cycle time, or whatever term you want to pick. The amount of vehicles needing repair haven't changed, but the time to repair vehicles has changed. Therefore, our capacity in the industry has gone down, and that bleeds right back into my efficiency argument, right? If we can fix them faster, we're going to run out of work quicker.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of what you do. And, historically, the consolidators seem to have all the advantages, the buying power, the infrastructure. But what you guys are doing kind of helps level the playing field with some of that. Can you talk about some of the ways that you help independent shops level the playing field with the big guys?
Absolutely. That was our intention from day one, and we haven't changed. Our motto is level the playing field in the face of consolidation. And so when you think about that organizationally, what is it that an independent is at a disadvantage? Where are they disadvantaged if they're competing with a consolidator? Some of that could be scale, so we leverage scale when we can. Some of that is through insurance relationships, and we all know that they play under a different set of rules oftentimes. So, whether it be large network agreements, we do hold some large network agreements that allows an independent to stay independent, but compete on the same playing field as a consolidator. Very difficult to do. 7 years ago, didn't know if it was possible. We've proved it is possible.
Nice.
Then when you look at scorecard management, as more carriers go to scorecard management, that allows them to gain some efficiency and reduce some headcount. We saw that as an opportunity. If we understand their scorecard as good or better than they do, and we can translate that information to an independent repairer, we give that independent repairer a fighting chance.
That's cool.
Yeah. What other types of programs and services does CCG offer to help level the playing field other than, the DRP situation?
So we have about 65 vendor programs that are above and beyond your local market deal. You don't have to change any, you don't have to change what you're buying or who you're buying it from. But we have a manufacturer-based program with about 65 manufacturers. That leads into the procurement, right? Our intention is that you buy as good or better than your competitor. In order to do that, we have to share those rebates, and we do. We share our rebates back to the point about 82% of our network of 760 shops get a check from us. They don't pay us. So we want you to buy better. We want you to be able to compete in the insurance arena on a level playing field. And then once we, put you into an agreement, we're going to manage that agreement. We're going to manage your performance, whether it be through scorecard, performance, operationally, whatever you're struggling with in your store, that's what we're going to focus on. And that's where I say we're not one throat to choke. We manage every store independently because, I have customers have 12, 15 locations, and they don't face the same struggles in all 15.
Yeah. Do you also support shops that choose not to be on DRPs? Maybe they're more OEM centric.
We do. And those shops, they're here for a different reason. They're here for the OEM ties. We do call on the OEs. We have I would say a shoestring. I wouldn't say we're close to any one OE, but we do call on the OEs. We want to know what's coming, what changes, what their program looks like, what the requirements are, what their audit process is. We want to give our shops an upper hand if they are choosing to go down that path. Interestingly enough, we're starting to see more certified stores going down the insurance path, where historically it's kind of been a divergent path, right? You're either highly OE certified and doing everything OE, or you're going to go down the DRP path. We're starting to see those two come together a bit, and I commend the OEs and the insurers both. I think that's paradise for everybody if we can get them all working together.
Wow, yeah, that would be a big deal.
Yeah, that sounds like a fairyland, but I mean, it's happening, and I mean, exciting. Wow. I mean, okay, so help me on it. Like, I literally had a conversation with the shop, and he's like, wow, CCG, best kept secret is what he said, right? So, I mean, I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. But I find for a lot of shops, there's so many distractions. There's so many areas that we could be focusing on, right? Like, how do you help your shops maybe narrow their focus to the most important things, or the things that are going to be most helpful for them to survive and thrive in the future?
Again, Brian, it depends on the shop. I have the greatest staff in the business. I'll put them up to bat against anybody.
Right.
We need to understand before we can be understood, right? We go back to Covey. We need to understand your business at a different level before we can really dig in and help you. But we are shop people. I've owned my MSO that I sold a couple of years ago. My whole staff has been either in the shops or at the carrier level. We know how to look at your numbers. We don't necessarily believe that a P&L is the Bible. Operationally, it's important, but we like to see your balance sheet, like to understand what your long-term goals are, and let's work a plan together to get you there.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I had a question, and I just lost it. It went that way. But I was at an event, and it's been a couple years ago, and right on this panel discussion, they said independent shops are not going to survive unless they become MSOs. And I sat there and I thought, that sounds like a bunch of BS. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I completely disagree.
Why do you believe that?
I've got single store operators running at 23, 24% net, running anywhere from 300 a month to $1.6 million a month. Being an MSO is no prerequisite for success.
I've seen some that actually have the opposite effect when they become an MSO, right? They don't make any money.
I agree completely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, and Emmett, taking that step from 1 to 2, that was the scariest move I've ever made in business, was going from 1 to 2. From 2 to 5 was easy, but 1 to 2 was the scariest. If you don't have the need and you can't fill it up, what are you doing? Let's
It's
talk this
ego
through.
driven, isn't it?
Yeah, don't make decisions out of ego or fear.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's great to have the people surrounding you, right? So as a shop owner, being part of a community, being part of a tribe, if you will, that you can bounce things off of and say, I'm about to go to my second location. You have all those kind of people in your organization that shop owners can lean on. I'm assuming as they make these decisions, they have an advisory board, if you will, right?
Absolutely. And it, that's not just going from one shop to 2. That could be any operational challenge. That could also be an OEM situation.
Sure.
I'm Maserati. I want to get Maserati. Okay. Number one, why do you want to get Maserati? Number 2, why don't you talk to 6 other shops that have it and see how it's working?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the intention there is to make a community of high performing independent collision repairers and give them every tool we can possibly muster. That's who we are.
Love it. I love it.
Good.
Well, thank you for everything, Marty, that you do. I know there's a lot of things behind the curtain that you're doing to move our industry in a positive direction. I'm a big fan of that. And so thanks for taking the time to join us today. We're truly honored to have you with us. So,
Oh, thanks for having us. Yeah, we
Thank you,
appreciate
Marty.
that. You bet.
Marty, thanks so much, my friend.